Imagine 70 artists across multiple cities working with partners, each offering space in their own unique way. What could happen when artists are given room to create on their own terms? This is a short video to share insights from a study co-led by Why Not Theatre and Mass Culture that asks, if you take away the struggle to afford space, does it change what's possible for artists? We heard from theatre makers, dancers, filmmakers, musicians, poets, and painters. 100% said they'd use the space again. Over 90% cited reduced financial stress. 29% of artists explicitly stated that free space didn't just reduce costs, it expanded their circle, allowing them to pay collaborators. But more than the numbers, it was about what became possible. Artists shared with us that these spaces restore us and change how we collaborate, and that they could just focus on their art, not worry about space, tech, or admin. That clarity made the work better. Why Not Theatre brought together diverse partners from across Canada, each offering space to artists in their own way. What creates a common ground in this project is a commitment to building trust in artists, in process, in possibility. This collective effort was part of Why Not Theatre's Space Project, an initiative aimed at facilitating greater access to space for artists by activating underutilized temporary and meanwhile spaces. Why Not Theatre invited Mass Culture to co-lead a study exploring the impact of the Space Project, not only on participating artists, but also on partner organizations, the public, and Why Not Theatre itself. This is how we worked together. We began by collaboratively developing a learning framework that centered on what Why Not Theatre aimed to learn and understand through the implementation of this project in partnership with others. Once the key learning pillars were identified, we designed a set of guiding questions to explore and deepen understanding within each pillar. To center our learning on the voices of artists, we recognized the need to take a more creative approach to data collection. Our primary method became what we called Follow the Artists Through Space, a 3-part longitudinal survey. You can't understand impact in the immediate. Impact becomes visible over time. By reaching out and asking artists a few questions at different points along their journey with their access to the space, we were better able to capture how their involvement shaped their experiences and creative practices. To access the questions we asked at each stage, use the QR code on screen now. From there, we analyzed the information gathered through the process and organized it into a series of interactive insights boards, one for each learning pillar, which you are invited to explore and add comments to as you review the findings collected to date. Take a tour of the insights by using this QR code or shortened link. To engage partners in adding their own perspectives, Why Not Theatre and Mass Culture hosted a sense-making session, an opportunity to reflect on what had been shared so far and deepen collective insights. These additional reflections will be added to the insights boards while more artists continue to participate in the Follow the Artists Through Space study. By August, we will bring together all of these elements and share findings. In the meantime, Robin from Mass Culture and Mary from Why Not Theatre, the co-researchers on the Space Project study, wanted to share some of the key insights that are resonating most with them so far.
We wanted to have this segment as part of the video so that both myself, Robin Sokolowski of Mass Culture, can share along with my co-researcher, Mary Anderson at Why Not Theatre, what we have discovered by going through this study with a lot of curiosity as part of the Space Project. We have created this experimental kind of longitudinal study that we're calling Follow the Artist Through Space, because we were very curious about understanding the true impacts that providing free space has on artists beyond the financial. Of course, there are lots of financial benefits. Wouldn't you agree, Mary?
Yes. Absolutely.
And so we wanted to both just kind of take a moment to share what's really sat with us. There's lots of things that have come to the surface and emerged, but one thing for me for sure is that quite a few artists, we have engaged, I think, almost 60 artists in this process thus far. The study's still in process, but we wanted to share this at this juncture. So what I have really discovered, and Mary and I have discussed this, is that quite a few people, without really being provoked or asked this intentionally, have shared with us that by having cost savings in space, they've been able to put that money back into the sector by providing fair pay to their collaborators and fellow artists, which shouldn't be surprising to me because this is the art sector and how we do our work. But 29% of artists explicitly mentioned that they were able to pay collaborators or other artists as a direct result of the cost savings from accessing free space. And I just wanted to read off a couple of quotes that really resonated with me that speaks to this theme of paying collaborators fairly. So one was, because of this support, our funds could go to the artists. This elevated the work and made the space feel like home. And one other one that really I just needed to share is we were able to pay our collaborators their full rate. That alone changed the energy in the room. It made the whole experience more generous and fulfilling. So that is something that is really sitting with me and I think really speaks to the uniqueness of our sector specifically. I want to pass things over to you, Mary, so that you can share what was really resonating with you.
Well, I think for me, when I was reading through the many artist reflections, there were kind of two overlapping themes that I wanted to highlight in this. And that was notions of both safe space and creative freedom. And not surprising, these themes were intertwined in various ways. So artists who felt welcomed and cared for in spaces found that they also had more creative freedom in their practice. And for those who craved this artistic mindset, made sure to recognize and honor the role that space has in facilitating this. So throughout the artists that we've received artist reflections from so far, 27% of artists describe the importance of feeling safe in creative spaces. And here are some examples from our project partner spaces. It was a welcoming environment with everything we needed. Even the sign on the door, which said, "Remember, you are here to create," was so encouraging. It created a sense of home where we could get our best work done. Here's another one. Being held and uplifted by my community has influenced the themes and direction of my art tremendously. I believe it is reflected in the work itself. The works are showcases of what support and creative freedom look like. And here's one more. Creating in a safe space remains the most important factor for me. Safe to access and use in whatever way necessary without restrictions. A safe space is where a group of artists can meet and feel free to open up their imagination and create. And by safe, I don't mean facility, but an environment that allows artists to explore their ideas without fear of judgment or limitation. And again, looking at how those two themes intertwine, this is the following quotes I'm going to relay speak to achieving that creative freedom and improved mental health due to these spaces that help facilitate that. So 35% of artists spoke to achieving more creative freedom, both because of accessing safe, but also free space. So here's a quote. "This space provided me the freedom to play, create, and grow with full support. This space has given me the tools and resources to realize the projects and visions. Having access to a space to create and collaborate alongside my kin has greatly influenced the quality of my work and creative process." So yeah, I think, again, just reading through it, just realizing how both of those ideas are really important, obviously in various ways, but looking at how the art itself improves because of that safe space, but also how that safe space facilitates that creative freedom. So that's what stood out for me the most.
Yeah, I feel like there's such a gift we've been given with all of the artists that have contributed their thoughts and taken time to reflect, because I think this has just really illuminated so many different possibilities and also developed an evidence base as to why work like this, initiatives like this, are so important.
If you'd like to learn more about the Space Project, feel free to connect with Mary. And if you're curious about how your arts organization might embark on its own learning journey, reach out to Robin at Mass Culture.